Hello. So here we got some. I prepared some examples based on the best sniper entry strategy that will work for you, and it's very simple and easy for you to follow this strategy. So I'll be providing some part two of the examples, yeah, so that they can be helpful on your side. So this is USD card, and USD card has been publishing the series of highs, low, high, low, high, low, yeah, high, low, high, low. Then eventually price managed to shift at this point. So we had our market shift. This is our market shift that price offered on our side. So as the market shifted, sorry, at this point, it left us with what we call the inside formation. Yeah. So eventually we had this structure that was already consumed by the price. So we had only this one that was left behind by the price, of which now, in order for us to take this trade, we'll have to wait for the price until it comes here inside shift and give us the formation into 1 hour inside this area. Into 1 hour, you need to understand that into 1 hour, because our 1 hour is the coordinated time frame from daily. But you need also to understand where the market is heading. Like, you need to know the general direction of the market from the monthly. Our monthly time frame shows that the price is moving bullish. So as whenever we get some bullish setup, it's a good opportunity for us to take the trade. Why is it bullish? Because the price shifted at this point. Then we had the formations that price took, then eventually proceeded by creating the series of highs and lows. So the market is still bullish. So the daily aligns with the monthly. So if the daily aligns with the monthly, then it's good for us to take the opportunity that are presented on our side. We won't be taking any kind of trades that are bearish, unless otherwise you'll end up losing in the market. So you need to understand that. So after that, to wait until the market publishes the candles from inside here on 1 hour, which are shift again, and the formation inside that area, of which now we'll wait. Sorry, let me pray out to the first here. So as you can see here, price entered this structure, the area of liquidity. We go to 1 hour. Into a 1 hour, we see successfully price shifted by closing. So we had a a confirmational shift. This is our confirmational shift, and we had the inside formation, this which was the matured shift. Now you need to have the difference between a matured shift and the confirmed shift. You need to know that. So inside this area, which is our inside formation, we have the high, the low. We look for the engineer liquidity or the failed engineer liquidity, of which I think every trader needs to understand them. What are the engineer liquidity and the failed? So this is our engineer liquidity. We look at the risk here, sorry, if it's much appreciable. So this might be good, but you can eventually minimize the risk by taking the trades. I mean, by minimizing these by looking the engineer liquidity into smaller time frames. Let's see, it looks like price won't allow me to go up to 3 minutes, of which I could minimize more to get some very tight, I mean, that sniper, that very good sniper entry. So which means now this is our entry point, and our take profits will be around these areas. If price closes above, then we'll be taking our profits around these areas. I mean, we'll be holding and taking some profits. So go again back to 15. We put our annotations, I mean our prediction tools. So this is our entry point, and this one is our exit, 7 pips, no bar. Yeah, 7 pips. We can put up to 10 pips. It's not a bad thing. So I do normally use 10 pips as my stop loss. So that's my entry. and my exit is down there, of which now my take profits. So let me maximize this. My take profit will be here. Take profit 1 if price closes above. So I'm risking 70 pips to 181 pips. Sorry, let me just do the hiding. Okay. Yeah, so this will be my first take profit if price closes above. As we came from the monthly time frame, so we can hold this trade as much as long. I mean, from the daily, we can swing this trade as much as we would love, depending on the market direction. Because our direction now is a bullish structure. So let me pay out. So price came to grab, took our trade. So if you put the same stop loss, it's okay. If you could have adjusted like 10 pips, because I do normally put 10 pips if the stop loss is too small. So I do normally put 10 pips here. You're still on the trade. So where is our take profit here? First, you can be tracking those intraday trades like here. This will be your intraday trade taken, price closed above. Intraday, just hold some few hours. So if price closes above here, we still hold, we hold until price offers us some other structures that they will give us the direction of the market that is closed above, but the first time the price didn't close above. So you have to look for external structures that they will guide you to keep holding or to take some profits. Price closed above, so this was a good confirmation. We still hold. Closed above again here, good confirmation. We still hold. If price close above here again, good confirmation. You still hold again. Same price. This is how we hold the trade for a long period of time, as I explained on the last video. That whenever we hold, so closed above again, we still hold. I think it closed above again this structure, so which someone would have held the trade for quite a long time. It's almost 3 months holding the same trade. And if you're good to go take your trade, but you know, currency, this is only 600 pips for you to take, only 600 pips. So if price has offered you more structures, of which this is above the last target, of which is almost 700 pips, then you keep holding and holding the trade until it gives you what price is needed. Of course, I took the trade from down below here. Here I took the trade, and I took the trade as well from above this structure here. It's the place where I took the trade, but I'm expecting price to be pushing more further to the upside before punching some candlesticks to the downside. So we still have a long way to go. I'm still holding this trade, so I'm explaining the things that are I took the trade, and not everything else that someone wants to take some considerations of. So same pair, weekly time frame. We see this is our area of liquidity. This point is our area of liquidity, and let me do this. This is our area of liquidity. This is our weekly area of liquidity. We are on weekly, so if weekly shows us some bullish setup along this point here, it will be a good time for us to take the trade. So we'll be going back to 4 hours. On 4 hours, wait for the shift in formation inside the market. So most of you'll be confused. Price made a shift here, then made a huge formation outside and not inside the area of liquidity. Now, if it does this, then you're not correct at all. So wait until price offers you the shift and formation inside the area of liquidity. So this is our shift and outside formation. This is our outside formation. So we'll go back to 30 minutes because before our coordinated time frame 30 minutes, we look for the engineer liquidity or failed engineer liquidity, depending on how the market will offer us. So whenever we go to look for the engineer liquidity, we find this is our engineer liquidity. Let's see, 5 minutes. No, 5 minutes price can't allow me to go back into 5 minutes. Then that's not bad. So of which I have the failed, because I want to minimize the risk of me taking the trade. This is our failed engineer liquidity. So we measure the amount, and for the failed, of which now our stop loss becomes at this point, and 4.9 pips. So as usual, if you'd love to take the 4.9 pips, it's okay, but at least the 10 pips stop loss maybe here, it's okay in your side. So because I want to get that sniper entry, this will be my entry point. So if this will be my entry point, my exit point based on the stop loss will be down below, and my take profits will be above, very high, because we are holding the trade for a long period of time, because you know we are holding the trade because we took the trade from the weekly time frame perspective. So these are the prices that will be taking your trades. So entry, or exit. So this will be entry. Sorry, I was taking a call. So take profits will be the levels. These are what we call the the turning points. It's where we'll be taking our profits. But for maybe if you don't, you want to hold much longer, then you'll be considering the other. So this is how your trade was to be taken from this area of liquidity, and you keep holding as price close above these turning points. Yeah. So price closed above, then it came to take the liquidity from the, so some entries will be taken along the way if you'd love to do so, because price has already, so you go here on 30 minutes, you look for the engineer liquidity, you keep holding the same structure as you proceed with the market. So price closed above here, then we're still waiting until price hits this point here from above. So maybe your last target will be around this point here, or here, or here above, depends on how the price offers you. So let's say our last target will be this first this turning point, and we'll be holding at least maybe 700 pips from the structure here. So remember, this is the weekly time frame. You have a lot of time to hold the trade, a lot of time. So price closed above, as you can see here, price didn't manage to close above from the structure. So of which now you'll be taking your profits and waiting for the other opportunities that price will have to offer you, depending on the direction of the market. So eventual price came to grab the liquidity again from this formation that was created by the price. Because price shifted, then we have another formation that was created by us. You can still have a lot of re-entries as whenever the price provides you the right direction of the market. So remember, this is our shift here. Then we have the formation, the inside formation, this one. So inside this formation, you can either trade the liquidity consumption, or you can either trade the shift and the formation that will be formed along the way here on 4 hour, and that's how you'll be taking your trades. I hope everyone understands what I'm talking about. So someone would have considered either from the daily structure that was here, or from the weekly structure, but all could have get the same entries, which was this one. So this was our formation from the weekly. This is our weekly formation. And the same applies, we have the daily formation. So it's okay for you to consider this point because it's the same structure, but in different candlesticks from the daily to weekly. So once you come here, let's say in 30 minutes, 4 hour, you wait for your shift and formation that was created by the price. So the shift was here down in 4 hour, and the formation was here as well in 4 hour. So we had the shift and the formation. So for instance, let's do this because we have already done this example from the daily perspective. So for instance here, it's your 4 hour time frame. You have your shift. This is the shift because price has closed above. And you have this formation. So we have the shift and the formation. This is a formation. We go 30 minutes, look for the engineer liquidity or failed, depending on how the price. So once you look for the engineer liquidity, we find this is our engineer liquidity. We can still minimize the risk to 5 minutes, the same engineer liquidity that we started with from the first example. So that's it. So you have, you see now, if you get some few, if someone uses daily and someone uses monthly, uses monthly and weekly formations, monthly and weekly time frame coordination, you still have get the same entry. And let us see another example. I think it's on Euro USD, if not mistaken. I think it's on Euro USD, and I took just this trade. I'm taking this trade of GBP USD. Let us see Euro USD. So I'm still holding the trade. It's an intraday trade. I took the trade just a few minutes away. This is Euro USD. We got weekly, I guess. Okay, yeah, it's weekly. So we have different areas of liquidity. We have this area of liquidity. Let me do this. We have this area of liquidity. We also have another one, area of liquidity here. I do normally tell my students that whenever marking the areas of liquidity, make sure you do consideration of the weeks, the validation and the invalidation points. Should be at the week. That's the best area that you could consider as your entry points. So if price reacts to this level, it's okay. And if it reacts to the above level, again, it's okay for you to take some consideration. So let us check. So price came inside here. Sorry. Price came inside here, the area of liquidity. And we go 4 hours as usual. In our 4 hour, we wait until price, let me check if I marked it correctly. We wait until price offers us the shift and the, sorry, okay. Shift and the formation. That's the thing that you need to consider always. Shift and formation inside. Here we were not offered any shift from this structure. But the formation, this is the confirmed, and this is also the confirmed. So we have the matured as well. We have the confirmed shift. So this is our high, and this is our low. The inside formation, but the shift is down below here. Is confirmed because price closed below and closed above. It's validated the structure and invalidated at the same time. So this is the confirmed matured shift. So you can have only confirmed but not matured. Sometimes you can have yeah, matured only, but not confirmed as well. So 4 hour, we go 30 minutes to look for the engineer liquidity or failed engineer liquidity from this structure that has been presented to us. So once we go here, we see that we have our failed. This structure, this is our failed. So someone would have considered this as their entry if the risk allows them to enter, because the stop loss will be kept down here. So where the stop loss will be kept. Let us see, maybe 5 minutes. If we can have more structures. Because you can minimize the risk as much as you can. You can still minimize the risk as much as you can. So from this, so this was our point where we consider to enter as our engineer liquidity. I mean, our failed, but we can have here is our engineer liquidity. This is how most you need to minimize the risk. A lot of structures, yeah, sometimes they make confusion. So from this structure, where do we put our stop loss at this point? Of which now you will find this a very no one uses 0.5 stop loss. No, so at least maybe at least 10 pips. So if I would have put the stop loss, maybe it would be below this point here. This would be my stop loss and not at this area. So, but this is an engineer liquidity. We don't have the failed here. So this is my engineer liquidity. So we need to understand that the engineer liquidity is the structure that has been swept above and below at the same time. So if price hasn't been swept above and below, there's no way for you to call it an engineer liquidity. So you can see here, we have this failed as well. We have just minimized on how we can enter the trade. So yeah, it turns out this is our best entry that we can consider, but we have the failed here. We can't consider any engineer liquidity from above because we have the failed. So this failed is the best, but if you want to minimize the risk of us entering the market, of which now our entry is at this point, are we clear? And here I'm not talking about the liquidity consumption. The liquidity consumption is kindly different thing from this, total different thing from this. So that's our entry point, because it came from the weekly. Our exit points are these highs, the turning points. These are what we call the exit points. These are the areas that will be exiting the market. Stop loss 4.6 pips. I'll be putting 10 pips. Yeah, just to clear myself, you know. Sometimes, so the market came tapped the entry, then proceeds to the upside. So you see, that's it. And price, whenever closes above, you see these areas that are called the turning points. Most of the time, price reacts on them. Not most, a lot of times, like 100% time, or 99, or just leave the 1% for uncertainty. Price normally reacts on those levels. So price closed above here, we still hold. It closes above, we still hold, because we are not worried about what's happening in the market. We still we still hold the trade because we came from the weekly. So maybe our exit target will be at this point. But whenever you come to your weekly, you see that price didn't close above this area. So if it didn't close, of which now this is not a good area for you to be holding your trade. Let's see what happened here. Do we have any liquidity consumed? Or let me just give you a sneak peek of how liquidity consumption works. So because the price didn't close from this point, now we'll be taking our trades maybe for the bearish momentum of the structure. Because we have another area here. So it looks like price reacted around at this point. This is our weekly time frame. We go hunting for the areas of liquidity that were not consumed along the way. And that's how liquidity consumption works. So as we come here, we don't see any areas of liquidity for 30 minutes. So this was consumed. This was not consumed. We'll be looking above structures to see if we can find 5 minutes any areas of liquidity that are still unconsumed by the price. As well, we don't just enter the market. So once we come here, we see this was consumed. The one that was left behind was this structure that was unconsumed area of liquidity. So we go back to, we can go back to 4 hour and play out the price. Just a sneak peek on how the liquidity consumption works. And I'll be posting the videos this soon in time. So that's would be our entry. And our exit just above this structure here. Not too far from the entry here. Which is, I guess, 6 pips. So 10 pips will do. You see, so price came tapped, dropped. But for good confirmation, someone would have entered after. You know, I'll be explaining everything later, but I just want to show you how the liquidity consumption works in detail. And as we are going on weekly, we had another area of liquidity, which is this one. This is our area of liquidity. We wait until price comes here inside, shifts, and give us the confirmation that it will be buying the structure, because you don't want to expect selling, because this is our bullish momentum of the price. So you do not buy on the bullish. I mean, do not sell on the bullish, you buy. So we go back to 4 hour, we wait until price offers us the shift and the formation. The shift and formation. So you need to keep in mind the shift and the formation. This is our inside formation that was created by the price. This one. 4 hour. Afterwards, we go 30 minutes to look for the engineer liquidity or failed. So once we come to 30 minutes, we see this is our engineer liquidity. Does it have the risk that we want? 7.6. It's a good risk for us to take the trade. So this becomes our furthermost deviation, a point where we put the stop loss, and this is our entry point. So we go back to our maybe 4 hour weekly to set just these parameters where we can be taking our take profits and stop losses. So we see that. You see, one pair, a lot of opportunities. Price will always offer you a lot of opportunities to take into the trade. It's just you to keep well maintained. And yeah, that's it. So you see price came tapped, published the candles to the upside direction. Came for continuation, then proceeds to the direction. We had another structure here, shift formation. Let us mark. So we still hold this trade, but we have the areas that we are left behind by the price to be consumed. So our shift is above here, and then this is called confirmational shift, or the continuation shift, sorry. Came to grab the liquidity here, so we are marking this area. We go to 30 minutes to look for the engineer liquidity or failed engineer liquidity, and we'll see how price will help us to get the entries to the direction that we want. So this is our engineer liquidity. So this will be our entry in the next future time. Sorry, my mouse is just, I don't know what's happening with it. So this will be our next entry in the next future time as price maybe. Oh, so I was just thrown out by the internet, was not available in a few minutes. So this will be our next entry, as whenever price comes back to this point. And the risk, let me measure the risk. If it's a good 19 pips, no. Let us reduce the risk. Let us reduce the risk and put at least 10 pips as our stop loss. We go back to 5 minutes to see. So on 5 minutes, this will be our entry point. This will be our engineer liquidity. Does the risk allow us to get the entry at least 10 pips? So 10 pips will do. So our stop loss will be here, then our entry will be there. So at least 10 pips will be on our favored point. So remember, we have this area when you still hold the trade that price has given us. So this, which means it will be our next entry as price maybe comes back to this point to consume some liquidity, and our stop loss will be 10 pips in total. So keep holding the trade until, because it's our weekly time frame, we expect some very good movement, maybe above up to this point. So the first entry and the second entry. Let me play out the charts so that it can be, and let me reach some lines because we have a lot of lines here. Oops. Okay, this is great now, because you already know what we are planning to get on the charts. Then we'll be holding the trade until the targeted areas of the market. So price kept publishing the structures to the above. We had the first entry. We expect the second entry to be taken by the price. So as you can see, yeah, looks like now we are stopped out by the price. So 10 pips were not good on our side. Mm. Looks like my mic, they're not doing great. So 10 pips stop loss were not good on our side. Then yeah, we were taken out at this entry, but the directional, let's see if the direction was correct on this structure. Now the direction was correct and the price looks like publishing some more structure to the above. But the first entry was still on the first trade, which price has closed above. We do expect price to push until this point and it closes above again. But the second entry was not a good entry on our side. Maybe on the other time frames like daily, or maybe on the other time frames like 1 hour, we could find a very better entry at this point. Maybe. I'm not so sure, because I didn't let me check. Sorry. I didn't check, I just analyzed the trade. His price offered us the good opportunity. Let's check here on 15 minutes. 1 hour, 15 minutes, if we could have an engineer liquidity. Looks like we have our engineer liquidity at this point. So this becomes our entry. So let me see. So this becomes our entry. Then a stop loss 10 pips. Same stop loss. Yeah. I guess that was the best entry to be considered, but unfortunately, yeah, the price was right and we were right on the direction of the market, but eventually we were taken out just as we backtest here. So we're still holding this trade. And the last trade is all about, let's check about Jerry 30. Yeah, Jerry 30. Yeah, Jerry 30, I guess. I think we have the this one. We have the area of liquidity and we have the sub areas of liquidity. I think I'll be posting about the sub areas of liquidity soon. So price came to react on the sub area of liquidity. We do understand about the sub areas of liquidity. They are very essential in the market and they help us to identify. So weekly 4 hour. So as we know, we have marked this as our we need to wait for the shift and the formation. So looks like we can find any shift here from 4 hour. We can go to 30 minutes. and look as well for the shift information, which is not ethical. It's not a good way to look for the shift information into 30 minutes, because yeah, you know, the shift, they form very early on the smaller time frames. As we go on 30 minutes as well, you can see we don't have any shift here because our shift was here. This is the matured shift, but we have the structure. This is the structure that had gave us the shift and the formation. So this is our formation, which is our inside formation, outside formation that was offered by the structure. So sometimes you need to be very careful when you're minimizing your risk to take the trade. So these all are not the shifts. As we go back to 4 hour, you won't find any shift. So we go back to 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes to look for the engineer liquidity. We can't find any engineer liquidity here. Let's go back to, we can't find also an engineer liquidity here. Not a good engineer liquidity that we want. So we find this is to be the best engineer liquidity that will take the trade to our side. So this will become our entry. We go back to 4 hours. We set our maybe points that will be taking the trades. These are the points that we will you consider in taking trades, and they'll be very helpful on your side. I mean, taking the profits. Yeah, stop loss is tight as required, and these are the points that will be taking our take profits. So let us see. You see, for now, we still don't have any shift until this moment. No any shift that was provided here. So we had to look to the smaller time frames to see if price would have offered us the shift. For our still no shift, but the shift that came, it was done outside the formation. Of course, I mean, outside the area of liquidity, which is not appropriate. So this was the shift that we took from the 30 minutes, and the formation, it was the one that it was required for you to get the trade in not the 4 hours. Sometimes you have to force the market and enter the market aggressively. You need to understand that price for the first time didn't close above, then second time price closed above. And that's how you should be holding your, you should be taking your trades. You should be taking your trades and get these good sniper entries. So that's it for today. And I think everyone will understand what we take consideration whenever we enter the trade in informational trade. And thank you very much, and enjoy the videos, and I'll be posting the rest of the videos anytime soon. Thank you.